This week on The Grind, we leave the Great Salt Lake and head out in the Excel boats for our first Utah puddle duck hunt.
I yearn for a place to call my own. I'm going home. Say what you will, I'll be better for it still. I've been wondering what you're doing with your time, just to get you off my mind. I'm in the grind.
The Grind Waterfowl TV is brought to you by Dakota Decoy, premium gunning decoys for demanding hunters. Lucky Duck, masters of deception. Rio, official ammunition of The Grind. Share the experience. Mud Buddy, the king of mud motors. Excel, the boat to own. Cornerstone Gundog Academy, the world's most accessible online retriever training program. High Mountain Seasonings, handcrafted jerky, seasonings, and meat processing tools. Lifetime Decoys, premium decoy rigging equipment. Sitka Gear, turning clothing into gear. Alps Outdoors, exceed your expectations. And these fine sponsors. This segment is brought to you by Mud Buddy and Excel Boats.
Day 2 was a puddle duck hunt and utilizing the Excel F4 and the Mud Buddy HDR.
So day 2, we hooked up with Logan and Dave again, and this was more what we're used to. It was a 4:30 in the morning gig.
We're hunting public land, and it was a Saturday.
And Logan had found these birds. The ice had formed on the lake, and it kind of isolated the birds to one spot. So we needed to get out there early. We left, I think, the hotel at 4:30. Yeah, I think we need a third boat, Dave.
I know.
Our timing was impeccable. We got the boats launched, headed out to Logan's spot, and other vehicles started showing up. So we did get the spot Logan wanted.
The wind's gonna be switching so bad today, but 0 to 5, what it feels like on the ground is a lot different than what it feels like up there. But it's gonna start, it's like a south-southeast wind. That's gonna come out of the south, and then it's gonna switch to the west a little bit, and then out of the northwest. So we're gonna get one of these back bays back here where they'll feel a little bit more safe and put out a decent sized spread and see what happens. But no wind makes everything tough.
We are on day 2 in Salt Lake with Dave Reynolds and Logan from Mud Buddy Excel, and we are setting up, and they've had quite a few mallards, I think, in here. We had a good teal shoot yesterday, so we're hoping maybe to score some mallards here today, but we ran out with 2 Excels and big Mud Buddies, and these things were loaded to the gill. I don't know how much weight was in them. More than there should have been, huh, Dave?
Oh, yeah.
And they handled it really well, so just awesome rigs. So getting set up here. We're early, public hunting area, so we had to get up really early, get out here and get the spot, which we did. Logan and Dave scouted all day yesterday, so we're pretty excited about it. Get set up, and take a nap, and wait the ducks out.
It had warmed up, and some of the ice had melted, so the birds had kind of dispersed a little bit. But we might have lost a little hope.
Get him, Ricky. Shot, Ricky. Shuffer and succotash.
But Logan and Dave pretty much knew when it was going to happen. It was going to be an early afternoon gig, and it was a little cold. It was, I think, 14 degrees when we got out there. We found this little hole, or Logan had found this little hole that for some reason was not freezing. It baffled us because everything around it was freezing, this little hole was open. So there were quite a few mallards, not quite a few, there were some mallards around, some gadwall. We decoyed, I think, one bunch of gadwall. for the birds to get into the decoys, they would have had to come over land and basically land away from us. So a little bit of panic was setting in, and Sean put the wish out for Wigeon. Cameraman's dream, hunter's dream, best decoying duck there is. And the Wigeon started moving. They didn't care where the wind was. They were coming across this lake, and I've never seen ducks land with the wind the way these Wigeon were doing. So the Wigeon saved the day, and it turned into an awesome hunt.
Get him. Oh, nice shot, Dave. Nice shot. Yeah.
This segment is brought to you by Rio Ammunition.
There we go. That was good. That was fun. Oh yeah, we got them all. There's one that got out.
There's your Wigeon, Sean. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Hey, heel. Heel. Next. Get that cripple. Boy, there's a beauty. Sean. Down. We'll get it. Yeah, let Max get him. Good boy. Good boy. Here.
Boy, they responded to the call too. They were going away.
Yeah, I guess we start trying to Wigeon myself.
Oh, cotton top. Beautiful birds.
Well, unfortunately, we have the wind in our face today, and there's not much to do about it, so we thought we'd move a few decoys out to the one side to sort of make a hook or sort of a barrier to hopefully get these ducks to land in between the two groups. So it's worth a try. I've had a lot of ducks decoying, but just nothing finishing with the wind the way it is. So,
You know, with the way the winds are and the way things are swirling, you know, it's a constant change, and all I can say to people is that, you know, you get swirling winds, you can either sit and try to do your best, get out there and change a couple things up like we did, but you know, wind is everything, and while it might be, you know, say it's 2 to 5 miles an hour on the ground, which doesn't seem like much to us, but it will control a duck, you know, up in the air. So it was very interesting. And you know, the mallards, we've seen a few of those, didn't want to do it right. Mallards needed the wind. The Wigeon, they just did it perfect. Didn't matter what the wind was. I mean, they were on us at 10 to 20 yards, and we had phenomenal shooting. The lighting was great, you know, and the drakes are just in full plumage. So it was absolutely amazing.
I got a triple, I think. Max. Phil.
Man, I thought they were getting out for a second.
Oh, I didn't let him get out.
Where'd Drake come from?
You know, 3 Drake Wigeon, 3 dead Drake Wigeon.
Well, I'll tell you what, you can tell who's over 50 in that line.
Why?
He's down, sitting in the water, got something to eat.
No, I shot him right before he hit the water. I guarantee I did, look. Max.
This was a true, basically, hunter's hunt. These were not warm, comfortable blinds. We were sitting on buckets in the weeds. I mean, it was just basically back to the basics. I joked once out there, it was 14 degrees, it was cold. We just got set down and I looked at Dave and told him to turn the heat up. Just raw hunting at its best, and it's always great to do that. It's fun to do it, and it also makes me appreciate the way we do it too.
We better get settled in. Maybe they're going to start moving here.
Heel.
That was pretty cool right there. We were all just kind of standing around talking, and Ricky was out of position, of course, back talking, and said there were some birds coming in. Had 3 Drake Wigeon come in, and the old man knocked all 3 Drake Wigeon down. Not bad.
Hey guys, I'm Barton Ramsey with Cornerstone Gundog Academy, and this is a retriever training quick tip. Today I want to talk about single marks. When you're teaching a dog marking exercises or marking concepts or just the skill of marking, I notice a lot of people move quickly on to running double marks and then triple marks if you're training for hunt tests or field trials, or you just want to train a dog to mark multiple marks. And once the dog begins to run doubles well or run triples well, I see a lot of folks getting out in the field and just running doubles and triples. It is important that while you're training your dog, you run a lot of single marks. I recommend at least 80% singles and 20% multiples. Some people would say 90 or 95%. You can't run enough single marks. When you're running a single, you're teaching a dog a concept about that mark. You don't want to waste meaningless marks. You want to say, well, today we're going to work on marking through water and getting out on the other side, or today we're going to work on marking across the side of the hill so the dog doesn't struggle falling down the hill. The problem is when you begin to mix in a bunch of marks in that scenario, the dog's no longer focused on learning this mark, he's focused on all the other things that are going on, and so you're skipping over valuable lessons. And so you want to teach marking skills in a single instance and then put it all together and run multiple marks so the dog understands the concept of looking for the next bird as multiple birds are falling.
This segment is brought to you by Lucky Duck Premium Decoys.
You know, we had birds that would, sweep to the left, and then you'd have birds that sweep to the right, and we're standing these Phragmites, and we had to break the tops down. So, Bill and Dave are off to the right, and Logan and I are next to each other, and while we're only, within 6 to 8 feet of each other, Bill couldn't see what's going on the left. We had birds landing the decoy on the left, and other birds working and, sweeping to the right. So it made for some actually challenging shooting, and I enjoyed it. There's a couple good volleys we had, and then there was a couple where, you just flat out missed, but you'll have that. It's a lot of fun. I'm glad that we had the amount of birds that we did to make for excellent shooting.
Get him.
There's one going down.
I didn't see those sit. Did you see the one sit in the water?
No.
Boy, this turned into a first-class Wigeon shoot. Huh? Oh, mine and Sean's favorite ducks for decoying are Wigeon, and boy, are we on them now. We had a bunch sit there. We had some in the air. The hunters, we didn't even see the ones sit. We just saw the ones in the air. But a lot of drakes too. Oh, did not see them. Oh, I see it. Yep. Get them, guys. Max.
Well, we shot into a couple nice flocks and hit a couple cripples that the dog couldn't get to. They were pretty healthy and got out a little too far, so we had to pursue them with the Excel from Mud Buddy, and we chased them down and got them both. So another nice, beautiful drake Wigeon.
That turned out cool.
Yeah.
Well, we just had a nice bunch of Wigeon come in, and we had 2 or 3 sailors, so they got the Mud Buddy out, went to chase it. This whole thing is just a big flat. You know, Ricky was probably out there 200 or 300 yards and still only waist deep chasing that duck, but they went and got the duck. We're having us a good old-fashioned Wigeon shoot here, and they're decoying just perfect. That last little bunch there, they came in kind of split up but together. I didn't see the low ones. We had 8, 9, 10 of them plop down on the decoys, and I was looking at the upper ones. It worked out because they came back and came in, but I think everyone was questioning my shot calling abilities there. Once I saw them jump up off the water, I questioned it myself too.
This segment is brought to you by Dakota Decoy. The decoy-friendly Wigeon, one of the most beautiful ducks you can find and a favorite of the grind, was saving this hunt from less than optimal wind and ice conditions.
We got out there, the weather was changing, sun was coming out, and just like everything else around the country, you know, birds try to fly during the warmest part of the day unless there's snow or something that affects them. So the birds really started to come out about noon or 1 o'clock, so we sat there, we stuck it out. We seen a lot of people leaving, and we felt like, you know, you almost had the whole lake to yourself, even though it's a huge area. Just didn't hear much shooting, only heard a couple shots, you know, early on in the morning. And then it's just like the skies opened up.
Got him. Nice, boys.
Oh, nice.
Good. There's our bunch we were asking for, Dave. More to the right. Here, Max, here.
The birds cooperated. It was nice to shoot, you know, the Wigeon, the teal. That's not something that we get to do every day back home, and it was an excellent experience, and the views were even better. I wouldn't change it for the world.
This hunt was one of those hunts where the scenic views, the weather, and the camaraderie in the blind could have left you perfectly content without ever firing a shot. And while early on that was looking like a strong possibility, we ended up experiencing the Pacific Flyway at its finest, with liberal limits and great bird numbers. The midday flight, something we saw twice on this trip, came through with flock after flock of gorgeous Wigeon.
I do a lot of solo hunts, so whenever you can get 4 guys out to shoot 4 limits, it's excellent. Good shooters, everyone knows what they're doing. It was really organized, and we had a lot of fun.
Well, we're wrapping up day 2 here in the Great Salt Lake with Dave Reynolds and Logan Thomas from Mud Buddy Excel. And I don't know, Logan seemed to think we need to be here at 4:30 this morning. So we sat around and joked and ate donuts and got full, and then the ducks, yeah, and the ducks finally flew when Dave told us they'd fly. Yeah, so it's really weird for us because our hunts are usually morning hunts, and we're out here, both our hunts out here have been afternoon shoots, like from 1 o'clock till 3 o'clock, just spectacular hunting. So we had a great teal hunt yesterday. The boys showed us a great Wigeon hunt today. So it was just a great trip all in all, and we really appreciate you guys letting us come out here.
You know, we were pushing these boats. We had a pretty good long run, and 44 EFIs, our strongest, most powerful motor. But they did the job. We got there to the spot, had to traverse some shallow water, some deeper water, had to break ice yesterday. I mean, you name it. We did it all, and we got the job done. And I think it's due to the equipment too. I mean, you have to have the right equipment to get the job done, and the right equipment to get to the ducks. And the F4 and the Mud Buddy motor, they get to where the ducks want to be, and that's typically in the shallow water.
We've been very fortunate. We've been running Excel boats actually for quite a few years now, and I can't say enough about the design and build of the boat. They are tanks. We had these boats overloaded. I mean, there's no doubt about it. We had gear, we had men, we had dogs, decoys. I don't know what the weight limit was on the boat, but we were pushing it. We didn't have a long run to make, but it was incredible. These boats still planed out. We were probably running 20 miles an hour, and the amount of gear on these boats, it shouldn't have done it, but it did. It handled it very well. The motors run flawlessly. Just an incredible rig.
Man, you can't beat this. This is a hunter's and a cameraman's dream. Wigeon, best decoying duck there is. These little buggers, their wind was wrong. They were landing with the wind. They didn't care. They love decoys.
In our next episode, we head to Big Kansas Outdoors with Barton Ramsey of Southern Oak Kennels and find ourselves right in the thick of the migration.